Welcome to Crossview Commons, a new podcast focusing on the ministries, ministry partners, and the people of Crossview Church. My name is Mark Lanting, and it's my pleasure to share with you what God is doing in and through Crossview Church in DeKalb, Illinois. And one of the things that we have going on, and a lot of that, is children's ministry, meaning we have a lot of kids around here. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you Sarah. I always want to call you by your former name, Cantrell.
Yes, you got it. Sarah Cantrell.
And Sarah Cantrell is our Director of Children's Ministry. Do I have the title right?
You got it.
Well, thanks so much for taking some time and being with us here today, Sarah. It's fun to have you.
Yeah, thanks
Your
for having me.
office is literally right across the way here.
Yep.
But thanks for coming in a little bit off hours and share with us a little bit about you and the ministry here at Crossview. So, first of all, I know a bit about you. We've been at the same church for a long time. You've been here a lot longer than I have. But tell us about yourself, family details, etc.
We came to this church when I was 10. And so, been here a long time. What is that? Almost 25 years. And so, and then I got married almost 5 years ago.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Isn't that crazy?
Right.
2018, July of 2018.
Wow.
And we've got a daughter. So Corey and I have a daughter, Piper.
Yeah.
And one on the way.
Yeah,
and so,
expected in
May 24th.
May, you told me.
Yep.
Exciting. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a gender known at this point? Are you keeping that secret?
It's a boy.
Oh, wow. Piper's going to have a brother.
Yes, and she loves to talk about him.
All right.
Yeah.
Super exciting. Wow.
Yes.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. We're so excited.
So here's something I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you like to do outside of church stuff? Because I associate you closely with Crossview.
Yeah, right.
What are some of your other interests or things that you think about?
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm a very social person. And so if I can, I enjoy, going out, doing dates with Corey or getting together with friends. The other day, this is not super common, but it's like definitely something that I really enjoy. We got together with a couple. Did a double date, went to Topgolf, and came back and got some ollies, and so just spending time with people, really, or being outside. That's a big one. I love. So thankful it's warming up.
Yeah, it's been a long season of dreariness, really. Not a harsh winter.
Not too bad.
But a dreary winter.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm with you on some of that. Now, except for the extroversion. I wonder if you and Corey are similar to me and Abby, where if it weren't for Abby, I might not go anywhere.
Yeah, I think so. Corey's very much like that. Yeah, we balance each other out well.
That's same story. Well, that's fun to know. Well, you've been here at Crossview since your childhood and been through children's ministry and youth programs and things like that. And here you are now as the children's director. When did you take on that role?
So that was January 2020.
Wow.
Just like 2.5 months before the world shut down.
I really never pieced that together.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of trained a little, and then everything just kind of was annihilated.
Yeah, wow. Now that I think of it, I remember Nora doing children's ministry activities, and sometimes just a couple kids. I think you might even had some one-on-ones with my daughter.
Yes,
Nora,
yep. We had some good times.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a way to learn your craft.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting because I look back on those Zoom meetings, and those kids that showed up, almost every week or so, I feel like there is kind of this little bit of a special bond that, just kind of, we had some, as far as you can get with kiddos, but deeper conversations and just goofy things, and got to know them quite a bit, and it was every week, and so it was kind of a small crowd, but we made it happen.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal for any of us in any way. In fact, it seems like every episode we've done some reflecting on that time. I think we're still kind of coming out and healing now and realizing, well, here's what we can do, and we don't need to be afraid.
Yes,
right?
totally.
Wow.
Yeah, like just kind of like processing, even like as Corey and I have been talking about newborn life again. Piper was born November 2020.
Wow.
Which was insane. And so I was just like the other day, I was like, I'm so looking forward to just really, hopefully, as much as we can, enjoying the newborn phase rather than being like in a constant state of panic and just like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know how, we were like pretty cautious. And so we had the support of our parents, but we just didn't feel comfortable with like bringing loads of people in, and so so this feels like a far more celebratory. Like we're just able to have it's just far more relaxed. I think my mentality.
I'm so happy to hear that, and I think that's for other ministries here, and of course nationally and worldwide. There's kind of a sigh of relief and
totally
getting back into the stream, but everything's changed, right? Things are different as a result.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: what drove you to children's ministry? I mean, I know your predecessor, and she was here for a long time and did an awesome job.
Oh yeah,
right?
She's fantastic.
So I don't know if Terry had anything to do with your interest, or
for sure.
How did that work out?
Yeah, so, it does kind of, I think, like, my heart for missions probably does swing back to the days of doing backyard Bible clubs with Terry Jen and my mom, and which were, like, little neighborhood, it's like vacation Bible schools, like, for your neighborhood, but just in your backyard. So you're doing Bible stories and crafts and stuff like that and singing songs, but it's real low-key. And one of the songs that I think I'll forever remember is, it's like, be a missionary every day, tell the world that Jesus is the way. Whether you're in the town or country or busy avenue, Africa or Asia, the task is up to you.
Nice.
And anyway, so that's just like a song we sang all the time, every summer for forever. And I think that's part of my story, is just like wanting to tell people about Jesus. And so I exited college and was in full-time ministry with InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, and loved that, loved being on the college campus and investing in students in that way. And then I think I was at a national staff conference, and I just kind of felt this tug to go back into like my vocation, what I went to school for. And so that was elementary education.
Okay.
And so then I started applying places and got hired at Cornerstone Christian Academy. And worked there for, I think it was 4 school years altogether, 4.5, like if you count summers and stuff, because I did summer camps and things like that.
Sure.
Did that there, and that was awesome, and I loved being able to have it was like part of my job to be able to tell kids about Jesus there, right? Because it's a Christian school. But then I felt I was like feeling pulled towards the public schools, or just like kind of a change in direction, and still wanting to teach, but wanting a little bit more of just a little bit more influence with kids that maybe haven't ever heard, and so just don't know the good news of Jesus. And so I started applying for jobs, and even kind of heard rumblings that Terry was thinking about retiring from this position. And so I took a medical leave for a teacher, worked at Founders Elementary for a semester. And that semester was 2019, fall of 2019. So I went through the application process here and started the job in 2020.
Exciting.
And so I just love, I think I tell people that my favorite part about, it's just like I think it's like the best of all the worlds I've been in, because I just adore kids. It's just always been, I'm a kid at heart myself. And so it's just like a huge passion of mine. Kids are awesome. And I love teaching, and I love that I get to be invested in that, to be able to like choose the curriculum and things like that, the materials and just what we're doing. I love that. And I love that we get to equip families and to go and share the gospel, or, you know, or maybe it's resources or just whatever this community is needing. I love being able to help with that. So,
well, it's one of my favorite Sunday dinner table conversations after church is just having Nora go through what she's engaged in on that Sunday and who she got to interact with. And oh man, you know, she remembers everything and loves
awesome.
retelling it. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Awesome.
It's really cool.
I love
it's
to
a
hear
testament
that.
to the good work that your team is doing.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Thank you.
So tell us, for those of us who don't know, what is Crossview's children's ministry? What does that consist of? Because there's a lot of moving parts. It's more than so. When I first was thinking about sitting down and talk to you, I was like, well, no, there are more elements than just running a kid's Sunday school or whatever.
Oh, totally,
right?
Yeah. So there's obviously the Sunday morning stuff. I actually thought about you. I was thankful for your questions somewhat ahead of time because I was like, it was nice to sit down and think through like all the things that we do. It's a lot, but yeah, we have the Sunday morning programming, nurseries on Sunday mornings. There's outreaches that we do within the community. I think our biggest outreaches, we have Vacation Bible School, which is coming up here, little plug, June 5th through 8th. And it's the evenings, so it runs from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's for ages 4 years old through 5th graders, people that are entering into 5th grade the coming school year. And then if you've got kiddos that are older than 5th grade, we love having volunteers. And so we get a lot of kids that are excited to do volunteering after they've somewhat kind of graduated from the VBS age to come and help. So, I mean, and it takes it really takes the church to be able to pull VBS off. So we love it, though. It's so fun. So that's probably our biggest outreach that we do to the church families here and then the community-wide. And then we also do a Fall Fest. Which is our or trunk or treat. It's kind of both. It's like a little fun fair that we do here and trunk or treat right around Halloween time. And that's super fun. We really love that. Those are our biggest ones. But we've done things with Hope Haven before. We've done little things like, you know, writing cards over Valentine's Day to, our different nursing home facilities in the area, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff that we do throughout. But I think definitely a lot of my job is just caring for our families here. It's discipleship. It's, like I said before, equipping families to... in whatever way I can, if they're struggling with conversations with kids or just not knowing how to talk about certain issues, just whatever is needed, I like to at least attempt to help in whatever way I can.
See it being useful to have someone to process through some things, or if we need to share something that's going on. That's cool, right? Yeah. I was just thinking my number 2 kid, Jared, came up through the children's ministry program, and it's now one of your volunteers.
Sure is.
Like a monthly basis or so, he steps in. He's happy to do it. He has a favorite, though.
Does he?
Yeah, Mrs. Shu.
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Shu's awesome. Mrs. Shu is awesome.
Special bonding relationship through his childhood, and she was so kind to him, and awesome. they bonded over Jared's strong desire to have a cat.
That's awesome.
We're conspiring together, and eventually he has his wish.
His cat.
Yeah, so they celebrated that together.
That's awesome. I love when Jared volunteers.
That's so cool. You mentioned a lot of things that I want to talk about. A couple of things. Let's start with your team because, all right, you have baby nursery. Is it like toddler nursery?
Yep.
And you have ideally 2 age groups for children's worship while service is running.
Yes.
And I'd guess that you need a couple people per room.
Yep.
Right? Not just warm bodies, but people with similar passion as what you've just expressed, loving kids.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So how does that work? Has it been tough to have a team? I mean,
Yeah.
is that an area where you've had success? What's that been like?
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about the pandemic. Terry, before me, had just a well-oiled machine. It was just awesome. And, but then, we were in the lockdown for far longer than many of us anticipated.
Yeah.
And then there were different levels of comfortability, of people wanting to return to church, and should we work with kids, and what masking, and just all these questions, right? Which affected how people felt about volunteering. So really, we kind of built back up from ground zero, where we were just we were for a while just meeting in the tent outside.
Wow.
Just like trying to do something with kiddos, and but now it has worked up back to, we have like 80 plus volunteers all together that are just on a regular rotation. 80.
You're kidding me.
Which is incredible when you really think about it. Because
for the church our size, we're not huge.
Exactly. That's
so
like
you have a lot of
almost 50%, not quite, but that's
population.
A lot.
Yeah. Right. I mean, on a good Sunday, 300-ish or so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a significant percentage of people. And I think there's a sense, too, so many of us have kids, and so where we can, we want to support the children's ministry, right?
Definitely.
Not out of guilt, but rather, we're all doing this work together.
Totally,
right?
yeah.
That's huge.
I feel it. Like, I can easily, when it's time when I need to recruit, there is the first service we do need. We have our children's programming, and we're not able to split ages just yet with our volunteer capacity. So I would love to be able to do that. But, again, it's just adding. I think I've asked like almost everyone. It seems like, and genuinely, but I am just so thrilled, just to be able to say that we have 80 plus volunteers, in a congregation of 250 to 300 people. That just it just moves me, because it tells me so much that this church cares about our kids and cares about children's ministry, and and they're invested, and
Absolutely.
I never questioned that. So it's just awesome.
That's really good. I'm really heartened to hear that, honestly. I'm surprised by that number, but at the same time, I understand you need bench strength for this kind of work. It's wonderful. You mentioned you enjoy being able to choose and put together a curriculum for the different age groups. What's that like for you? What do you look for? Is there a particular thrust that you're aiming for? What does that involve?
It's a great question. It's kind of been a journey for me too, because I don't know. I when I'm looking for curriculum, I want it to be Christ-centered. I would love for every lesson to point back to Jesus somehow, even if we're learning about the Old Testament.
Sure.
What does this have to do with Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an application element, like what does this look like for me in my life? I think that, I don't know how to say this super well, but, I guess I'll just say it like this. I don't want to scare kids into loving Jesus. I don't want the message to be, well, you better watch out, because if you don't, then bad things are coming to you.
Sure.
And
there's that stuff out there.
There is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of and it's sneaky. Kind of like, and so.
Yeah, I was reading a devotional that I thought would be great for, I think it was an Advent thing. But it got really heavy into some shame and guilt stuff.
Yes.
I was like, I'm uncomfortable. And,
Yeah.
I didn't know the author well or anything like that. It just, the cover looked nice, the title was good, I read a few, but it went in a direction I did not want to go with my kids.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I've been on kind of that journey, of trying to sort through the shame and guilt culture that can kind of breed. And I just want kids to love Jesus, because Jesus first loved us, and that's a beautiful thing. And to have relationship with someone that just loves us so deeply and tenderly is just huge. It's far more interesting and exciting to be a part of, the kingdom of God that is just doing the miraculous, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than like scaring us into things, which I don't think is really the kingdom of God anyway. So
right. Well, that's super, right. I love the direction, and it's got to be sort of a painstaking process, because I don't know if there's more bad material out there or if there's more good material.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the bad stuff, right? Not from our church, but
no, yeah.
And I remember, coming up through church life, there was sort of a certain attitude and disposition toward needing to get these kids saved, right?
Right, exactly.
Yes. And having us live right, and
yes.
that's all fine and good.
Yeah.
But there wasn't this emphasis that I see from you. You use the word discipleship, and that fits really well the culture of our church, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
When you say discipleship, I wonder what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just coming alongside whoever it is I'm with. I think whatever that, and then trying to bring Jesus into the center of that, and a lot of times it is a journey, because not everybody always wants Jesus in the center of that right away, and they're on a journey themselves. But I think so much of discipleship is just like, when I look at Jesus and how he treated his disciples, he just did life with them, really and good. That's what. To me, that's what it is. It's eating meals together. It's hanging out together. It's talking the deep conversations, but also, shooting the breeze, or just like, is that the right phrase? I don't know if that's the right phrase.
No,
but
it's okay.
Just like having fun together
and
right. Enjoying each other.
We see that represented in the way Jesus lived his life, right? And that's what you're emulating, and that's how you understand discipleship, and I love that. That's really good. Yeah. Now, a less fun topic, but an important one, is security when it comes to children's ministry. And I know that takes up more of your time than people might imagine, and more of your team's time, because you have members dedicated every week just to that. Can you tell, if someone's new and they have some apprehensions, right? And, what do you show them? What do we have? What's in place?
Good question. Yeah. So the first thing that you'll see when you enter the door is a check-in table for kids. And so we check kids into our online database that we pay for, and it prints out a tag for them that has all matching codes for all of the siblings that check in and the parents that check in. And so we know who's there. We know who's there on a Sunday. We know where they're heading, to what classroom they're going to, if they're in the infant nursery, toddler nursery, children's programming, where they're at. And then so they have to have that tag on in order to enter our rooms.
Right.
And then for parents to pick up, we check and make sure that the codes match. So as the kids come or the parents come to pick up, their parent tag matches the code that is on their child.
So crucial, with so many, even, with broken families, with custody issues and things like that. Sure, I might be the dad, but what if I'm on the outs and there's a restraining order or something like that?
Right. Yeah, and we may not know of that, and sometimes we're privy to things like that, and sometimes we're not. And so, it's super important.
Yeah. So we have the check-in system, but then I know you have people in the hallways too. Yep. What are they doing? Yeah,
so our hall monitors are just kind of checking in on the kids as the programs are running, and they just kind of monitor the hallway. So we just want to make sure that kids wing is safe, and that there's really only people in the kids wing that are supposed to be there.
Yep.
And so, or like if kids need to use the restroom, then we try to keep it so that we have at least 2 people in the classrooms, and so then the hall monitor comes and takes the kids. And so their job is super important and super helpful. And just making sure that we don't have, if there were to be anything scary, which hopefully that never happens, but then we've got systems and things in place and protocols.
Really good.
So
it's a more sophisticated operation than most people understand.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say everything that we do because it's important to maybe keep some things.
Yep.
But I know I love that everyone has a name badge with their picture on it. If you're a volunteer, even my kid has his own, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we can identify who's supposed to be there.
Yep.
And if they don't have something, we can ask questions,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so good and so important. Again, we don't want to be an alarmist society.
Yeah.
But we know the rate at which things happen in our world and how horrible it is. And as a parent and as a member and in leadership of this church, it's kind of our sacred duty to do everything we can. And I appreciate the measures that we have in place.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a long-standing member.
Yes.
People know me.
Yeah.
But every volunteer will ask me to see my sticker, right? And I think that's important that we set that standard for everybody.
Yeah.
I love the hallway monitoring. I've been here long enough where people come in during services that we don't know.
Right.
It happens.
Yep, it
That's
does.
not that they're bad people. It's just we don't know you.
Right.
How can we help you?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And then the hall monitor can I've been called out of his service. Someone needs to talk to somebody out here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yes,
right. So good to have those things in place.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, we also run background checks just per policy on all of our volunteers.
Wow.
We've recently really kind of dove into, we just learned about how recent Illinois law, at least, is that we are mandated volunteers within our children's ministry or even youth are mandated reporters, and so we've been working through getting everybody trained and realizing what that even means. And so it's like heavy stuff. But
super heavy stuff.
We're thankful that volunteers are willing to go through that and just have an extra ear open we just want to make sure our kiddos are safe
and that we're doing right. We recently had a joint training with the Deep Soul Care team and children's ministry where we had an attorney who's a member of our church walk us through all these policies, mandated reporter and whatnot, and we had to use difficult words and explain difficult scenarios. But I think it's so important that people know we're having these conversations because the devil is out there like a crawling lion, right? And we know we're not excluded from potential bad stuff. So that was bad stuff for a little while. Let's end on a positive note.
Sure, that sounds good.
We have just a couple minutes left. What are some things that you'd like to share? What are some needs? How can people volunteer? Anything that you'd like to wrap up with?
Sure. I mean, VBS is really on the forefront of my mind right now.
And when this comes out, you'll be really working hard on pulling it together. So
Yeah. So we would love any and all volunteers interested in helping us out. In a couple weeks, our registration will launch. So I'm guessing, again, like you said, this will kind of come out when we're in full swing for that. So if you love games, if you love snacks, if you love crafts,
and
if you love
children,
I mean, given, hopefully a given, that if you love kids and you want to continue to foster that relationship with kids and their relationship with Jesus, we would love that help. And especially, too, because oddly enough, I most likely won't be there for the actual programming of VBS because we'll be in the throes of, maybe about a week-old baby. So,
right.
I mean, I have joked with my team though, like, oh, you'll want to like see what it's like. You'll show up, you know. I'm like, I don't know about
think
that.
so.
Maybe we'll see.
That's cool. So VBS is a big deal.
It is, yeah.
And you mentioned some of the first service needs that you have to for if you wanted to split age groups.
Yes,
right?
yeah. I would love to do that by the fall, so that we can and so that would take roughly 4 more teachers. And 4 more helpers. So
who are willing to
willing
that first
to
round. Yeah, first service is a lot busier than it ever has been, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost become the preferred
it
service
is. It's
in
so
many ways.
busy. Yeah.
All right. Well, Sarah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And again, a lot of moving parts, and I think you did a great job today helping people understand that this is a big deal.
It is.
And I feel like our kids are in good hands with awesome programming. So thank you and your team for everything that you do.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us. At Crossview, our services are on Sundays at 9 a.m. and 10:45, and both of those services are streamed online on the church website. For more information on Crossview, visit our website at crossviewefca.com, and we'll talk to you next time.